It's Mo. It is August, which means it's time to do another readathon recap. These are little videos that I make every month, mostly for myself, because this is the video where I keep track of all the books that I read for different readathons, what prompts they might have fallen into in some instances, but this is also where I keep a big, long running list of readathons that are coming up, that have just passed, that people have let me know about in the future, so that I can have a big, long list to refer back to, and so that you can have a big long list to refer back to if you want to find a readathon. So that list is down below. It mostly just has the name of the readathon in the month which it falls or in the time of the year which it falls, and my suggestion to you is to use that name of the readathon to search in the YouTube search bar and pick from the most recent, and then that way you can see the most recent that readathon has gone on. You can see videos from various creators, and you can find the creator of that readathon. So some readathons that we have to talk about that just passed were the K-Tropathon. I heard about this from Crystal at Fiber Artsy. I had never heard of it before, and I definitely want to try and do this next year in July. This was a July readathon where you read books with Korean and K-pop tropes in them. So specifically like K-drama, K-pop, things like that, tropes. Obviously it can be Korean books, but it doesn't have to be Korean books. She read a whole bunch. I would definitely suggest checking out her wrap-up where she talks about all the prompts that she completed. Another one that she participated in and that sounds really fun is Christmas Evil in July, or Xmas Evil in July, which again was a July readathon. In August, which is the month that we are in now, it is Women in Translation Month, so this is a time to read women authors who are from different countries than your own, translated from different languages than your own. Bonus points if it was also translated by a woman. I love to participate in this one. I'm surprised that Insert Literary Pun here or Matthew Sharapa haven't done any videos this year, because usually they come out with a couple, but Simon Savidge just put out a good video of a bunch of books that he is going to read or wants to read for Women in Translation, as well as books that he suggests in translation. I do have a Women in Translation video from last year, so I will try to link that down below as well. It's also Garb August. Garb August is about reading trashy books, garbage books. This is put on by Criminali, but a lot of people are guest hosts this year, and there's a lot of explanation to what makes a trashy book. There are also prompts for each week of different things to read. I'm going to try and read a couple books for Garb August this year. It's also another round of the Magical Readathon in August. Now this one is super complicated, so I definitely suggest looking it up and finding an explanation video by the host, but this month's iteration is the autumn equinox. The closest example that I can think that reminds me of this readathon is like LARPing. It's basically like reading LARPing for adults. It sounds really fun and really interesting, but also really complicated. In September, we have Shorty September. This is one of my favorite readathons. I participated in it for the first time last year, and it's just to read short books. That can be poems, plays, nonfiction, fiction, and it's all about reading books that are 250 pages and under. And then also coming up soon, we have Novella November, which again is one of my favorites because you read books 175 pages and below. This obviously is limited to novellas, not nonfiction work that are short, but it's also nonfiction November, so if you wanted to read all short books in November, you could read short nonfiction and short novellas. October is my BookTube birthday month. October is the month that I started my channel several years ago, so I like to do birthday related things. That's more of a personal one, but if you have a BookTube birthday month, then I suggest celebrating during that month. It's still book track as we're going through, so in June, July, and August, the goal of book track was just to read at least one Star Trek related book. I'm still hoping in August to get to a Star Trek related book. It's also the Amazing Readathon coming up. I'm not sure exactly when that took place. I don't know much about it, but someone mentioned it and it sounded awesome. when this video airs on Friday the 11th, the next day will be the start of another weekend edition of the Cat Lady Readathon. So you can go to Leanna's channel and check out all the different Cat Lady Readathons she's done. She does really fun vlogs. And the whole goal of the Cat Lady Readathon is just to read books with cats around them somehow. So it can be a cat main character, it can be a cat in the book, it can be cat on the cover, and I definitely plan on participating in that one coming up very, very soon. So on to my July readathons. Two readathons or reading challenges that I participate in every month are the Savidge prompts put on by Simon Savidge and Louise Savidge, and the TBR spin put on by Jill at the Book Bully and Freshly Read Books. I actually read two Savidge prompts in July because I had skipped June, so my June pick for the Savidge prompts was The Bullet That Missed by Richard Osman. This was the prompt to read a book inspired by the outfits that the hosts were wearing when they made the announcement video. And then I also read the July prompt, which was to read a book that you had been putting off or saving for a rainy day, and I read Sundial by Catriona Ward. That was a weird one, very cool, very strange, very disturbing, but I had been saving it. It had been my most highly anticipated book of 2022, and I just hadn't read it yet, so I was able to read that on audio. And then I did also read my TBR spin book, although I did finish it a couple days late. I finished it in the beginning of August. Oh, I don't have it, it's over there. That was Mrs. Frisbee and the Rats of Nim, which is a middle grade book. I always vlog my prompts for Savidge Reads. That vlog is going to come out after this, but I also always vlog my TBR spin books, and that vlog is already out. You can go check out my thoughts on Mrs. Frisbee and the Rats of Nim, and you can see what book I picked for August. Moving on to SummerWeen. This was a week-long readathon put on by Gabby Reads and Olivia Reads a Latte in July, and I read 5 books. Spooky books, mysteries, thrillers, horror, books like that are the goal of SummerWeen and all the iterations of the weens. I read A Taste for Death by P.D. James. I was actually reading this for Janelle-a-thon, which happened in the end of June and the beginning of July, but it bled over into SummerWeen, so I was happy to use this. Arc by Veronica Roth. This was a very short pre-apocalyptic book. I read The Girl from the Well. This was my first Rin Shepeko, and that was also my first Veronica Roth. This was a really creepy YA horror. I can't imagine how this is actually YA because it is very gruesome. Last but not least, I read The Stepford Wives by Ira Levin. This was an amazing classic vintage horror. Another video that will be coming out soon is a vlog where I participated in book breaks, 5 books in 5 days. The challenge that they set forth was this summer to read 5 books in 5 days, or maybe for the end of the year. So these are generally going to be shorter books. These are generally going to be books that you can fly through. Maybe some longer books that are just really easy to read. And I actually failed this challenge. I wasn't able to read the 5 books that I picked out in 5 days, but it had more to do with my schedule than the books. So I'm going to be redoing this challenge in the future as well. But the 5 books that I read for that challenge were Artificial Condition by Marshall Wells. This is the 2nd in the Murderbot series. I also read Rogue Protocol by Martha Wells. This is the 3rd in the Murderbot series. I also read Lost and Found in Harlem by Delia C. Pitts. This is a Ross Agency mystery, and it is the 1st in a series. I really, really enjoyed this book. I can't wait to get more of her books and read more in this series. And I also read The Loves of Joao Vencio. This is a weird little autofiction, stream of consciousness, bizarre little book with a lot of violence, sex, and love. So those were all the readathons and challenges that I participated in the month of July. Let me know if you participated in any of these readathons. Always let me know if there are any readathons coming up or that have just passed or that you love that I have not mentioned and not listed below. Let's try to make that list huge. Thanks so much for joining me today, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!